Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Remember, we said we were going to come back with another candidate today. So was it last week or the beginning of this week? Was it last week or Sunday? It was Sunday. Sunday we had JR. I cannot pronounce his last name. So Gaio. To come on because he was running for our Commissioner of Agriculture. Now we have the only female, only Black female running for Commissioner of Agriculture, Naomi Esther Blemur. But before we get to that, I gotta do a little house cleaning. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to know how to participate in the political process as a Black American but aren't very political, this is the show for you. We talk about all things race and racist, elections, legislation, and we do candidate interviews. And we keep you all up to date, informed, and give you actionable items to do on your own to help facilitate your political participation. We all about making sure everybody vote around here. Come tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yes, come tomorrow. Early voting starts in Saturday. I'm just pushing it up because I really wish it would just start. So anyway, Saturday.
Well, people are voting by mail.
Vote by mail is going on. So we're doing vote by mail already. I've already put my vote by mail, and I already voted for Naomi. So I'm gonna just put that right out there, honey. I already sent my vote, and I voted for my Naomi, honey. Okay. So vote by mail started. You all should be sending your vote in. Listen, the commission. What is it? Voting. What's the place? What is the place? Joe Scott's place. What is that called?
Supervisor of Elections.
Supervisor of Elections said that was only like out of the 300,000 mail-in ballots they sent out, only 40-something thousand came back. Come on, y'all. Let's send in these mail-in ballots and make sure you understand that your vote is your superpower. So we're gonna keep pushing voting. Early voting starts on the 13th. I think early voting started in Miami already. I don't know about Palm Beach County, but I'm thinking it's somewhere
Palm
around.
Beach started on Monday also.
Okay, Palm Beach started on Monday also. Listen, Broward is the only one trailing behind. But anyway, I'm one of your co-hosts, Narnique Nikki Grant. Sandra, you can introduce yourself.
Oh, no, so Narnique took what I usually talk about, which is like going to vote and the dates of the voting. So I don't have much to say. Naomi is running for a statewide seat. She's a very busy woman. I'm so glad she carved out this bit of time for us. So there's no sense in me talking a whole bunch because we came here to hear from her. Yep. We want her to stay on that trail and get to meet as many folks in the state of Florida as possible. So yes. I'm done with my intro. All right.
It's to you.
Commissioner of Agriculture. Tell us something about you.
Ladies, thank you. Thank you so very much. Narnique, you are my heart. Sandra, I just love all of the work that you have been doing together. And I want to honor the both of you because it's very difficult in our time for two Black women to find a common ground and work together and do so effectively and efficiently as you both have been doing. I was watching your intro and I was like, hello. They are doing it and keeping our communities engaged, allowing our everyday moms and dads to connect with the voters for themselves, not hearing it third, fourth, fifth, sixth hand information. I think that's phenomenal. So kudos to you guys, even before I go into who I am. To everyone who is watching, my name is Naomi Esther Blemur, and I'm running to be your next Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. I come from very humble beginnings. I lost my father when I was 16. I lost my mother when I was 18. At 21 years old, I took on the responsibility of raising my three younger siblings. And it quickly dawned on me that, Naomi, if you do not get a hold of your own future, you will not be able to provide a future for these three children. And at that time, I began to invest in myself as well as in them. I studied business in the European Union in France, international marketing and management in Spain, Italian language and culture in Italy. And then here in the United States, I got a degree in accounting. My sisters are phenomenal. and God has truly blessed them despite of our hard, difficult beginnings. Right now, the middle child just recently graduated from law school, but just sat for the 2-day bar exam last week. So we are just praying and hoping that God graces her and that this will be the last time she takes the exam. The eldest is an educator and a former assistant principal of a national charter school. And for everyone who knows my baby, well, he's not a baby anymore. He's a grown 30-something-year-old man. Our baby brother, Emmanuel, he was born with Down syndrome and will forever be in our care as the oldest sisters. And so today, I just want you to know that I'm a fighter. I'm a woman of conviction. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I do not allow circumstances, situations, or difficult times to shape who I am. And I know for so many of us, we go through difficult times as women, and sometimes it's really hard to get your bearing. It's really hard for you to really stand for something when everything around you is so fluid. But nevertheless, faith, my faith has been my anchor. It is the plumb line, as we say at church. It is my plumb line. It is my guide, and it is everything that I hold dear and sacred. And I truly believe that if I can sit here today and present myself as a candidate for Florida Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, it's truly because of the grace of God. Thank you.
It's a statewide seat, y'all. That's a statewide seat. That's not local. She has to go from the Panhandle to the Keys to convince folks to vote for her. So it's a big job.
A very big job. So Sandra and I discussed what we were going to start off with first.
Did we?
Yes, we did. We did.
I mean, it was a record. We just thought about it. I don't know.
I think we need to address it, and I want to address it because
it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, there is an elephant in the room, and I want to address it. And I feel like because as Black women, as women, period, there's always an issue where we are concerned in terms of running for office or being a CEO of a business or whatever it is that is traditionally the male's, the man's job. So they say. But let's address some things. So Naomi, I think it may have been her opponents. I'm not sure, but somebody put some information out, making it look like Naomi's not pro women, pro choice, or whatever the case is. And then as a result, a few people that endorsed her rescind their endorsement. First of all, we was not happy about that at all. We have somebody who's running for the governorship that has switched sides so many times. I'm confused where he sits at now, but he's been given grace in the past. And here we are with a Black woman who is qualified, taking words that she says out of context and accusing her of one of the most asinine things I could never think of. But anyway, I'm gonna let
her explain that, because maybe what she said, but it may she may that may not mean that she can't do her job effectively.
Exactly.
So
I'm gonna let her talk about it. Naomi, you have the floor. Please let's discuss this.
So just to be clear about what happened is that apparently somebody went on her Facebook page, looked at some old posts that were made. Some of the issues addressed whether she was pro-life or not, and some of them had some comments about LGBTQ plus, about the LGBTQ plus community. So that's what the posts were about. And then certain members of the Democratic Party, candidates who had given their support, decided to withdraw it. And Naomi can tell us if that was with or without a conversation from her. And and then they took those posts and just kind of made a general assumption about how she would govern, how she would lead. And so we want to give her an opportunity to speak on that, about the post itself, whether or not it will have an impact on her ability to lead.
Thank you so very much, ladies. Yes. So in fact, I have over 25 endorsements. Okay, beginning with the Tampa Bay Times, a county mayor and senators, commissioners, council people all the way down to community leaders that I have worked with, or they've come in contact with me in the last 7 years that I have been engaged in the community, and they all have stated that I am the best choice for this seat. Now, I, as a woman of color, a woman of Haitian descent, I am a 3-time minority. And I understood that coming into this seat. I understood that coming into politics. I understood that running for a statewide seat. Now, I must be honest, the blows that I'm getting, I did not expect it to come from my party. I must say that. Nevertheless, they have, and like we say, not make a lot nusulu, and
right.
we can do what we do.
For the non-English speaker, for the non-Creole speaker, that's like she gonna put her big girl panties on.
For every person who is watching, I want to give you the background on me outside of my regular academics. I have been a minister since 2008. I am licensed in Christian education. I hold an honorary doctorate in ministry for over 10 years of ministry. Prior to running for office, I am and still is a leader in nonprofit. I have my own nonprofit where we help coach individuals on how to balance their life financially, spiritually, educationally, and emotionally. My faith is sacred to me. It is my personal choice, and it is my guide for my life. Mm-hmm. At no point in time have I ever stated that my faith, the choice that I made for me and my family, should be the guide for anybody else's life. And so the posts that were taken down from my Facebook specifically were me addressing sin as a believer and as a minister. It was not me addressing my position as a community servant or someone who is looking to serve in a political office. And I think that needs to be made very clear that every single one of us as Democrats have the right to choose what is best for us. Mm-hmm. This is why we are Democrats. You should not tell me what's good for me, and I should not tell you what's good for you. I believe that every single woman should have her choice. I do not believe, nor have I ever believed, that anybody should make a choice for her on whether or not she should start a family and when she should decide to start her family. Point blank, period.
So before you go on and address the other points, right, let's make it clear that the laws that are talking about, they make it seem like what the law is talking about is only about abortion. And it's not that. It's not limited to that, right? It's really about a woman's reproductive rights, period. So this law is extending into whether or not a woman can have birth control or not. This law is interfering with whether or not a woman that has an ectopic pregnancy, which she's never going to deliver any baby whatsoever. As a matter of fact, she will lose her life before any of that can happen. So the law is not only talking about whether or not somebody wants to not have a baby because they can't afford it. This law is extended into whether or not you can decide when it is that you want to start a family, whether or not, even if you have a pregnancy that's not viable, they don't want you to do that. If you're having a DNC, for example, like sometimes that happens, babies pass in their stomach, you can miscarry, but doctors can take it out before you have to go through that trauma. They're even saying doctors can't do that. So please understand that, they want to limit it to abortion to make people, Christians or feel some sort of way. But these laws that they're talking about is dealing with somebody's entire reproductive experience and their reproductive freedom, and we really should not allow any of those type of decisions to be made by men that don't really have to live with the consequences of those tough choices. And I just really wanted to make that clear, is because they're trying to make it about whether or not you should have a healthy baby or not. That's not always the case. and they need to acknowledge that. And then the idea that a woman should have, or a child, for example, should have their father's baby, their uncle's baby, their brother's baby, their cousin's baby, their rapist's baby. This is all included in that conversation, and they're trying to make it seem like, oh no, we're not talking about that. We're just, no, they're talking about all of that, right? And then to try to suggest that a woman is not sympathetic and that doesn't understand that, ain't nobody but a woman is gonna understand all that. Okay, so just to make that point.
And thank you so very much, Sandra, because it was, for me, when you're reading someone's post about you, I mean, literally, you're taken back. You're like, oh my God, really?
I know when they met me. When did they know me? Ooh,
when did you have a conversation with me?
Know me?
Nevertheless, I realized that in this sphere that I am in, it's not necessarily about people having conversations. It's not necessarily about people actually asking you, Naomi, what do you mean by that? What did you mean by that? Can you please explain? No, it's sound bites, number one. It's whistleblowers that once they say something, they rally their groups and their community and whoever they feel is going to begin to fight against that person. And it's unfortunate that that's what happened. Nevertheless, I am so beyond what took place, because I understand that there are 22 million residents in the state of Florida that come August 23rd, come November 8th, are going to be looking for a Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, and that person is not a legislator. That's number one. Okay, that person is part of the executive branch of the government. That person sits as a 4-member council person on that cabinet. That person operates a budget of $1.9 billion. That person oversees over 3,000 employees and some 19 divisions and offices. This is what this seat is really about. That person is a manager. That person is a regulator. And that person is an advocate for everything that will ensure that you and I, our children and our grandchildren, have a better, safe, and more prosperous tomorrow here in the state of Florida.
Right. So, and understood what she said, right? She said, she's not legislating anything. So it doesn't matter what her opinions are about either one of those issues, right? It has nothing to do with the position that she's running for. And then the idea that a person can't have personal beliefs that are separate from what they do as a professional is mind-boggling to anybody that's a professional. For example, I'm a practicing attorney and I have a lot of friends. Sometimes my friends call me and I have to ask them, I was like, do you want the lawyer answer or do you want the friend Sandra answer? Because oftentimes those answers are not on the same page. What I'm going to tell you as an attorney is not the same thing I will tell you as a friend. So the idea that a person cannot disassociate their personal beliefs from what they do as a professional is absolutely and utterly ridiculous for any professional, and we all know that. And for them to make that an issue is really disingenuous. And I'm really
and to add on to that, you're absolutely right. And to add on to that, my parents are Haitian, Sandra's parents are Haitian, Naomi's parents are Haitian. We were raised very conservative. I don't know what you heard, but Haitian people are very conservative.
Very conservative.
That is how we were raised. And I'm telling you, I am a person who is pro-choice, but I'm also pro-life. I can be both. Okay. I don't necessarily agree. Well, not necessarily. I do not agree with abortion, but I do not feel the need to tell anybody how to make a decision in their life. If you're doing that and if you're a friend of mine, guess what? I will support you whether you decide to or you don't decide to. We are able to do that. And just the level of disingenuous within the party is what Sandra and I had a conversation about. And we are talking about, listen, what we've been doing is not working. We need to be able to if we're going to have Democrats running for office, all Democrats
support them all
and give them the same respect. We should not be infighting in our party. We should be there to make a change. We are at a precipice in this country that we do not have time for the foolery. It's either we get to work or we don't. It is what it is. But we wanted to give you the opportunity, Naomi, to bring that all out or whatever. And another show, Sandra and I will directly address certain things. But for now, we want to give you the floor. We want to, talk about the top 3 things as the commissioner of agriculture, what are the top 3 things that you see that's going on that you feel that you want to
let's not forget the consumer protection part of it, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
you keep not saying that part.
Even before we go into the consumer protection part, I also want to let the viewers know that it went from me not being pro-choice and wanting the ban, which is absolutely not true and false, to me not being a supporter or an ally of the LGBTQIA plus community, which is also a lie. So I want to make sure that although I've put out a statement, I've bold those points on the statement. Now that I am here on this platform, I want to reiterate to you, Naomi Esther Blemur is going to serve the 22 million residents of the state of Florida without prejudice. I am a Democrat because I believe in everybody's right to choose what is best for them and not have me or anyone else impose what is best for them or their family member. And I want to make that very clear. You are going to vote for a woman who has stood for minority groups my entire life. From the age of 25, I have devoted my spare time, my volunteering time to everything that concerns a woman, whether it's her right to choose, whether it is her ability to further her education, whether I'm mentoring young women, whether I'm providing counsel or consulting services myself, or whether I'm serving through my nonprofit where we've been able to honor and celebrate over 40 plus women in Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach County, and Broward County. And at this point in my life, I am not going to allow anybody to rewrite my bio and to communicate falsehoods about me. I am here to serve everybody. And for those who really want to see me action, go look at North Miami past planning commission meetings. Go see how I vote. Go see how I make decisions. Go see how I show up for the people. The receipts are there. You don't have to listen to somebody else. Go right on to North Miami, go to the planning commissions, and go check it out. Because the same way I serve my local city, that is the same way that I'm going to serve the entire state of Florida. Ladies,
they should just ask you
for my next question.
Right, and they should just ask you, right? They should just ask you, like, why you don't do it? Just come talk to me. What you want to know?
And then let me just make it clear: she ain't going nowhere. She's winning this race.
She's
all
staying
right?
in this race.
She's staying in this race.
All the people on 62nd Street done voted for you, so you better stay in this race. I done showed her the picture with the lady in the yellow, you know, on the side of the street. I was like, that's what you voted for. She's like, okay.
Listen, she ain't going nowhere. So what you thought you was gonna do, it didn't work, bro.
It's not working. As a matter of fact, it actually emboldened more Black women to be even more supportive, right? Absolutely. Because the way it was handled was so disrespectful that they would only disrespect a Black woman that way, right? You know what I mean? So the fact that they did that, what they thought the outcome was going to be, it actually emboldened Black women to be even more supportive of your candidacy, because again, other folks would have gotten more respect than you did, and it's only Black women that they choose to disrespect in this way. And it's time for that to stop, particularly since none of them can win without Black women. Like none of them. Ain't nobody winning no races.
Say that again. Say that again.
None of them.
Nobody winning without Black women. So y'all need to understand and really put some respect on our names.
You better. Real. And we've been in spaces already, Naomi, and for the viewers, we've been in spaces already where Black women were riled up and they were like, "Oh, so this is what we doing?
Oh, this is what they trying to do? We got a trick for that."
Okay. So we have a group. There's groups of women out here, are expeditiously voting for Naomi.
So what calling 5 friends, they calling 10. making sure.
We making sure, honey. We don't play no games around here.
No,
so
no,
you don't get to come for a black woman. Don't think black women gonna come.
A qualified black woman too, because let me tell you. So she's coming on out on the Democratic side. I'm speaking this into existence. The Republican who they think is coming out of who's supposed to come out of there. Homeboy got an associate degree and worked for his daddy all his life. Okay, so that's the competition, and you're trying to diss a woman who has all of these credentials, who's really put in the work. But a guy who has an associate that worked for his daddy all his life is who This what we doing? So stop with the disrespect.
You want to give the job to consumer protection,
right? Stop acting like black women aren't qualified. And I'm not saying he may have learned all the operational skills that he needs in order for him to do this job. But the point that I really want to make is that our credentials are always like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times better, right?
Always.
Anyone we're competing against, and then all of us, it's still some reservation in the back of folks' mind about whether or not we're qualified to do the job. When they don't, who they put up against us, I'm like, oh, this what y'all doing though for real today? Okay,
that's the best.
Understand, you guys have really just made black women come out even harder, Naomi, because of the disrespect that she absolutely did not deserve from the party or anybody else.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so very much. You have no idea how encouraging this is. Because like many of you know, when you are doing something and you get opposition, although you are strong, although you are 10 toes down, it does hurt.
Yes,
and it does offend. And so to every woman of color throughout the state of Florida that has voted yes for Naomi, I will not let you down. I will serve with character. I will serve with integrity, and I will ensure that I always show up for you and for every marginalized group. And you can count on that.
And let's believe that, right? Because one of the things Nikki says is like, as black women, we have to look out, right? Because whenever something's bad, if it's bad for white boys and white girls, it's worse for us. Like, we catching all the hell at the end. So we definitely, like, if it's good for us, it's absolutely good for everybody else, right? Absolutely. Because we catch the brunt of almost anything, any and everything, when we even don't deserve it. So if it's good for us, trust me, everybody else, they like eating cake, pie, all of that. If we're eating well too. All right. So that, I'm always say soapbox stuff, right? Yeah. Don't come for us. They don't want none of this black women smoke. Don't do it.
None of these black women smoke.
None of it. No, especially not no Haitian or no Caribbean woman. Our people is hot. You know what I'm saying? Our people are real hot. Don't come over here with that.
Don't come. I always tell Sandra this: whatever you do for black people, everybody benefits.
Everybody
benefits, and all other races except for some of them that are marginalized like us. But for the most part, that's like icing on the cake for them. So you can't lose with a black woman, Haitian descent. You can't lose with that because always.
For real, because even remember with the PPP loan, when they tried to say, oh, well, let's try to make sure that black folks get stuff. The white people were like, oh, no, well, what about us too? And they had to adjust the laws to accommodate them. So even when it's something that's going to target black people, then white folks be like, y'all better make sure we get ours. And everybody knows that and stop acting like that ain't the fact, okay? So even if Naomi said, I'm going to go there and make sure all black people straight, trust me, white people, y'all good, because y'all always get it. We get what's at the bottom, all right? But she's not going to say that because she already done said multiple times that she's here for all 22 million Floridians. She's not picking and choosing who she's gonna represent. And we know we've seen candidates who pick and choose who they about to serve, okay? And they tell you, and y'all need to believe them and really just vote for someone who's really out here talking about they're here for all 22 million Floridians.
And
go ahead.
You know what I can say was most hurtful is not the fact that they attack me, but it's the fact that after they attacked me and after they created fake emails, fake websites, fake Twitter pages, fake Instagrams. Listen, ladies, I've seen it all. Mind you, I've only been in this race from July 15th. Okay, and I have seen it all. And June 15th. And I seen how they the distaste and this disdain for us. And
it's not a disdain, it's a threat. They see you as a threat. They know that's all it is. They threat. Yo, this girl could actually win.
Yeah. And no matter how much we say we're gonna serve everybody, we're gonna do what's good for everybody. No matter how much you say it, it's not good enough. But you know what? The one thing I can say that my faith has taught me and that I can absolutely bring to serving the state of Florida is that you don't hold grudges. And even when they despitefully use, misuse, and lie on you, you forgive. You forgive. And given the opportunity to serve that person, to work with them again, you ask God for the grace to do it. And that's what I'm going to do. We are tired. We are tired of the divisiveness. We are tired of the infighting amongst parties and between parties. Nobody wants the Trump era back again.
Sure don't.
Even the ones who think they do, they don't want that.
Nobody does. Everybody wants to literally invest in themselves, their families, their communities, their growth. The collectiveness of us is what is at stake right now.
Yeah.
And this is what everybody is concerned about. And I am going to be a leader that unifies. And while my faith may not be in alignment with everybody, I guarantee you there are some, I would say, principles that I'm coming with that, believe you me, it's going to work for everybody.
But that's the beauty of America, right?
And
Is that you have all of this diverse, different background, people from all type of religious persuasions that are allowed to come here, and they get to express and present their religion and worship however they choose, right? That's the beauty of America, is that you have all of this difference, and you can come here and make all different types of things of your life, right? That's what America is about.
Yeah,
you know,
and flourish, and they flourish. Period. So
really, ladies, before we ask some questions and lead to some questions, one of the things that I've been making a point to tell everybody is the history of this seat, because this is why I chose to run. And this is very important for every person of immigrant descent to know. In the 1800s, when the state of Florida was being established, they did not call this seat Commissioner of Agriculture. It was called Commissioner of Immigration. Why? Because agriculture is the second largest economic driver in the state. It is about $100 billion industry. And the Commissioner of Immigration had the responsibility of scouting immigrant farmers to come work this land. What you see here is built on the backs of immigrants. My grandmother came here in the 1980s, could not read, write, or understand English, but she needed to make a living. And she quickly found out that she could have gone to work in Immokalee, in the fields, boxing tomatoes. And she did so for 10 long years, never having proper health care, never having a pension, or the possibility to own that farm. Although in Haiti, we grow coffee, we grow beans, we grow peanuts. But guess what? That little old lady, Sylvia Le Riche, qui t'a travaillé dans le jardin, produced the first woman of color to run for the state.
That's right.
And by God, I'm going to run until the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
that's right. That's the testimony right there, y'all. That's the testimony right there.
I got goosebumps.
And I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know where I come from, so you can understand why I lead the way that I do and why I am 10 toes down.
So let's talk about that land. I think that could take us into our first question, right? Because one of the things that comes up is
made. Sacrifices were made.
Absolutely.
For women like me to be at the table.
Yes.
Yes.
Women like me to show up and throw our hats in a race. And like Narnique said, I'm not going nowhere.
All right.
right.
So we talked about that land that your grandma worked on, and I know a whole bunch of people that lived in Belglade, Immokalee. You know, they used to go see through all kind of stuff, right? And so one of the questions that we've asked several of the one of the candidates and the former Commissioner of Agriculture is like, what y'all gonna do for these black farmers now? You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of black folks working this land, but they can't seem to own none.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
As a Commissioner of Agriculture?
Excellent. So for on my platform, I have 4 key drivers, 4 priorities that I'm going to focus on. I have 20 years combined experience in retail management, commercial banking. I work for the 2nd largest bank in the United States, generating a revenue of $15 million per quarter, $60 million a year. I understand how to build relationships between banking centers and small business owners. And I'm also a leader in the nonprofit industry. I am going to utilize my banking background to ensure that small farmers are treated like a business. And right now, the way we talk about them, the way we present their businesses, the way we support them has nothing to do with how we treat viable businesses in any industry. We have failed them when we have failed them miserably. In agriculture or in the industry of agriculture, currently right now, it has the highest rate of suicide. The people who are literally putting the food on our table are the ones taking their lives the most. There's a huge issue with mental illness and how they are processing their business, their livelihood, and how they are the resources that they're getting to support that. So rest assured, the first and very first thing that I'm going to do is to really connect with community banks, connect with the large banks, and identify where the large percentage of farmers are located in the state and ensure that they create metrics just for them. And as a banking center manager, not only is that possible, that's how the banks work. The way they lend to people in Miramar is not the way they lend to people in Lemon City. And I understand that. And I'm going to ensure that I use that information to get our small farmers the capital and access to capital that they need. Second, when we're talking about land, so we currently on the Commission of Agriculture has community farming as a priority. And I'm going to expand on that. Individuals who have a backyard, who want to literally get the education, get the seed to plant their own fruits and vegetables, you are going to be able to do that. Then I'm going to take
hold on, wait. I need to stop you there. But doesn't that become a zoning issue? Because I know in Miami Shores, there was I can't remember her name, but she was a well-known person in the community, and she had a garden in her front yard, and she fought with this. They made her get rid of it, and she was like, so what the community garden or in a residential space would that be a zoning issue, or is that something the Commission of Agriculture can make happen where it's not a zoning issue?
So the way it is, if you are doing it for your own consumption, and to give back to your community, it's not for sale. That is where you understand. Obviously, there's rules, and I will be a regulator, so we have to follow the rules. The rules are currently right now, you can plant fruits and vegetables in your backyard. Now, can you open it and open the door on Saturday and say, "Here, I'm selling a tomato"?
Mama got a papaya tree.
C'est manger pour nous-mêmes, manger pour petit ou manger pour famille ou pour nous pas grand goût.
Okay, so as long as you're feeding your family, yourself,
yes,
you are allowed to have your garden.
All right, yes. So it's okay. Now, give it to me for the smoothies.
Now, what we want to do, bringing the program, opening up the program a little bit bigger, is partnering with the 67 counties. Where are the vacant lands and what can be done? Are the soil for that lands good? And if they're not good, what work needs to get done so we can repair them and so that we can grow on them? Now that will be a different situation, whether we're doing it with county land or state land. But when it comes to your own personal backyard, and you're planting your ti banana, et puis wap planter ti piment douce, et puis wap planter ti piment piqué ou, Naomi Blemur 100% m'dehors pour ça. Et puis pour tout le monde qui besoin de faire à sous pour boire, l'autre format.
Yeah, my mom, her backyard is a pharmacy.
Oh, listen, I get all my stuff from Sandra. Sandra gives it to me as a gift. From my mama. And I get my te from Sandra's mama.
Excellent. So those are the two main things that I believe that we can do immediately to make sure that people's lives, one, the farmers, and that our individual life. I want the Commissioner of Agriculture department to touch every single family living here. You should not be, this should not be aloof. You should not be just like, oh, what do they do? Oh, I don't understand. You are going to completely understand what we do, how we do it, and how you can be impacted by it. Another thing, hemp is a $4 billion industry. The application process alone begins upwards $100,000 plus. People that look like you and I, nous pas gen kob sa yo.
I know but there's a lot of us that don't have it. Because I know some that got it. They're like, yo, just approve the application. Because I heard that they got the money, but they can't seem to get the application approved for them to get in their marijuana business.
Andy, we have several problems. Gen moun ki pa gen kob la, gen moun ki pa kompren procedure. Gen moun yo kompren procedure, mais yo pa kon ki bo pou yo komanse.
Yeah.
My job is going to ensure that I capitalize on the 5 regional leaders that cover this department. Yes, there are 5 regional leaders right now in the state that covers this department, and their job is to collect information, bring it back to the commissioner so the commissioner understands what's going on in each region and how to better serve that region. So we are going to capitalize on those regional directors who nous vraiment assess what's going on, qui ça nous besoin, and how we are going to best to mobilize those resources and get it out to you. My first 90 days is going to be spent educating, community conversations, 20 ans de commissionnaire agriculture, 20 ans de qui ça nous fait, 20 ans de responsabilité, 20 ans de qui le n'a fait meeting pour qu'à toujours là. And I'm going to say it in English. First 90 days, it's really going to be about educating our community, showing you who the 5 regional directors are so that you know who to bring your concerns to and you can hold them accountable because they can then hold me accountable. That is extremely important. Last but not least, concealed weapon license. Son gros cause lié. Moi-même, I am not contre Second Amendment. On moun vle gen zam, c'est pas problème. On seul bagay, yo mette on procédure là pour ka fill out an application, ou remplir application, and you're going through the entire vetting process. Si que ou fin fait tout complete vetting process et pour pas de problème, pas besoin de licence sous, bien vite. Mais si que ou pas un monde qui t'a doué gen yon firearm, ou pas besoin de ni. Because why? We need to ensure that our state is safe. We need to ensure that somebody's not going to walk into a school and shoot up our babies. I have a 5-year-old son. And they literally train them and drill them, preparing them. If something happens, how to get into a closet, how to go under the table. That is not what our kids need to be learning.
So say it in English, Naomi, about the licensing.
So the licensing, 2.4 million residents of the state of Florida are licensed. People want to have their guns, and I'm not against that. All I'm saying is, if you are going to apply, you're going to go through the entire vetting process. If you complete your vetting process and you clear, get your license quickly. If you don't clear, you will not get a license. And for all those that do have a license, we're going to find ways to educate on gun safety. For example, somebody like me who has a 5-year-old in a house and I were to own a gun, the responsibility is higher. than somebody who's single in a home by themselves. Somebody who's a parent with 3 teenagers in the house. Your responsibility goes up a little bit higher because now you have 3 teenage kids. You may not necessarily be aware of all that they're doing. And so we have to take measures to ensure that there are no casualties. That's all. And, when it comes to the environment, it's also the Commission of Agriculture, quality water, food inspection and quality. When you go to the supermarket, making sure that those weights, they work. L'on mette banana, l'el dou c'est $3.75 et puis l'on la caillou ou joine banana pour $3.75.
They yon bagage they yon man. Reason ça yo coûte $12.
You understand? So these are the things.
Like $12. I was like, wait, $12 for some grapes? I could go to like Chef Creole and get a whole meal that I could eat over 2 days for $12, but they want to charge me $12 for grapes. I tell you.
But you see, this is why community farming is so important.
So important.
Because my son likes grapes too.
My kids too.
So this
is a budget buster.
Listen, guys, I look at things from a holistic perspective. I think 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. Right now, Florida is unaffordable. Moun pa ka afford manger, you pa ka afford gas, you pa ka afford housing. And every single one of these things, the commissioner can impact. Let's talk about housing. Landlord and tenant falls under consumer services.
Yeah.
It falls under it. Now, I know one of my opponents is telling people it has nothing to do with it. I just don't even understand him parce que li la sous website la, li dit landlord and tenant. So when we think about landlord and tenant, I want to ensure that tenants understand their rights and landlords understand their rights. Ou pa ka louer le kay nan men moun nan, ou kaze kay la ou pa vle payer. Ou pa ka fè ça. En même temps, si moun nan pral monter loyer a sou, li pral monter $600, faut le bon assez temps pour ka connaît quand on peut joindre $600 ça pas moi. So a tenant bill of rights is definitely something that I will advocate for parce que I'm not a legislator. I will advocate for it because I believe it's just going to ensure that we treat each other better and that we understand each person's role, each person's responsibility, each person's right, so we don't violate it.
And I want to comment what you just said. Listen to her now. She says she's not a legislator. So again, they're telling you how important it is for you to pay attention to which legislators you're sending to Tallahassee, right, to legislate on your behalf. Because you need people who are really about consumers and not about, the people that's writing them big checks. Right? So you really got to pay attention to who it is that you're electing and sending to Tallahassee to legislate and make decisions about your life, on decisions on your behalf. Some of them have their own personal agenda. They like to have titles. I know someone that was a senator probably 30 years ago, and you still got to call him senator. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you don't send one of them people who like them titles, but they don't like that work that comes with that title, right? Because every time we speak to, we spoke to the last one of the other candidates, and they were saying like the legislators. So I'm telling you, y'all need to pay attention to who it is that you send to represent you to make these laws that's going to affect your life for real. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I can share is that we are what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And that's 10 toes down. We are what we've been waiting for.
Not only that, we need it. Like we absolutely need it because this train that's being derailed right now, we need to put it back on its tracks. Like seriously, we need to put this train back on the tracks because we going out some real ugly right now.
M'pa bon pou yo, lot moun yo, gen moun yo arrete yo pou passe yo bat madame yo.
Yep, that's true. It's true.
Moun wap di m'pa bon pou ou,
Yep.
Okay? So ça veut dire comme ça que guys, m'pa di que Naomi Blemur perfect. Pa gen moun ki pa fait sous la terre. Mais moi-même, moi-même m'pral goumen pour tout moun. M'pa besoin connait à qui est sous marié. Pas besoin qu'on ait sous gain petit sous pas gain petit. C'est pas business moi ça. ou pas considérer. Besoin connaître qui possibilité ou gagner pour vivre un plus bon vie dans état ça. L'eau al travail, l'eau al dans maquette là. Est-ce que manger ou pas l'acheter? Est-ce que c'est bon qualité manger lié qui déjà trop cher déjà? Est-ce que c'est manger qui expiré avant nous? Est-ce que payant après ça lui dit qu'on ça que lui va l'expirer telle date et puis en vend date là il expiré. Allons let n'a pas acheté presque $5 pour bailler ti moun yo de let. Est-ce que l'on acheté li en vend l'el get en gâté? Ça c'est responsabilité comme ça.
That's right.
L'on a acheté gaz. Sous acheté 93, est-ce que yo bon l'autre et 89? C'est job moins ça.
Yep.
Soumettez gaz pour $10, qu'est-ce que l'on va priver ou oh mes amis, mettez $10, gardez bagay la pas même mou. Bagay la pas mou. Ça c'est là. Ça c'est job moins ça. Donc moi je voulais tout le monde comprendre responsabilité hein. Moi je voulais tout le monde vraiment I hope I explained it in like layman.
No, you explained it perfectly. You explained it perfectly.
Nous,
Yes.
l'autre rôle moins, à part de Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, et que moi expliquer tout rôle ça, et puis me tout pasteur yo, captain de moi, toute l'église yo, tout social services yo, non-profit yo, is under this commissioner. Okay? Tout mécanique shop yo, tout pawn shop yo, moun kal no pawn shop yo vole nous. Yo prend bagay yo ou al planer yo diront ça que ou perdu à fort. These are the concerns of the people every single day. And then I do also have a responsibility as a cabinet member. And I'm going to close with that and yield the floor to the ladies. And one of the role as a cabinet member, there are over 10 major state agencies that reports to the cabinet. DMV is one of them.
Oh well, let's.
Nous pas get après le 23 on a retourné sur ça.
When you win the primary, I'm gonna just put this out there.
Yon lot département qui répond avec cabinet, c'est the clemency board.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Tout le monde connaît Amendment 4. Amendment 4, c'est un amendement que yo passé pour tout le monde qui servi dans la prison, qui retourne back la caillou, qui fin payer dette à la société pour yo ka restaurer droit yo. Nous connaissons gouverneur qui campé en quoi, li bay toute qualité causée pour loi pas sous for the law.
It doesn't. So what she's talking about I'm gonna do a little bit for the English speaker. Is about Amendment 4, right? The people of the state of Florida overwhelmingly voted for Amendment 4 to become law, right? The governor that's here now was like, well, I don't like that. I'm like, but y'all put it up to a vote. So if the people say yes, then yes is yes, right? So in his world, yes ain't yes unless he wants it to be yes, right? So basically, they're finding all kind of ways for these returning citizens to not get their voting rights restored, right? Because they think for whatever reason, they think all felons are like Democrats or something like that. So they like, if their rights gets restored, then they're going to vote Democrat, so they don't like it, but whatever, right? Because there's a whole bunch of Republicans that's felons too, but I digress, right? So the returning felons, the returning citizens, he's been fighting on every step, every front to prevent them from getting their rights back. That's, and also, you also have people who like after a certain amount of time and you can show rehabilitation, you can get pardoned, you can try to ask for clemency. So what Naomi is saying is that is also one of the responsibility, not a responsibility of the Ag Commission, but she's part of the cabinet that makes, that's part of the board that makes decision on that particular issue. So I interjected because we have a couple candidates that's running for governor, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm supporting Nikki Fried. I think she is going to be the best candidate to be the governor for the state of Florida. I think she has the best chance of beating Ron DeSantis. So, but the point I want to make is that yet again, Naomi's explaining where whoever the person is that has another job, it affects her ability to do her job in the best possible way, right? So we need a governor, right, who's really about the 22 million people in the state of Florida instead of that 1/3 of folks that I'm not going to say nothing bad about them, but I'm just saying he's concerned about the entire 22 million citizens of Florida. It would make her job better if there's a governor that's there, that really wants to work for all of the people and not just some folks that.
So guys, one out of, thank you, Sandra, for breaking it down. Parce que m'dapè se pou m'di lan Creole parce qu'on pour m'assurer tout le monde comprenne. So one out of every 4 women in this country has a loved one serving time. I am one of them as well. And Amendment 4 is extremely important to ensure that when our loved ones come home, they get reintegrated back into society and that they can now start a new life again. And the Clemency Board plays a huge role because for all state offenses, an individual can come before the governor's cabinet, which would be myself, the attorney general, the governor.
Ayala Amaris for attorney general. I'm shouting out other folks. See, the attorney general, it's important who you put in office. Get Ashley Moody out of there. She ain't doing nothing for nobody either. She's drinking that other dude's Kool-Aid. So Ayala Amaris for attorney general. I'm just saying.
So we want to ensure that when they come and ask for that second chance, they get it. Many of you know Mr. Meade. He went for it a first time. They didn't give it to him. Yep. Somebody who had done so much work to show that he had been rehabilitated, and we would not give them a second chance. That's not the America that I know. That's not the America that my grandmother and my mother came to know. And that is not the America that we're going to leave behind for our children.
Update that he did get the pardon. He eventually got the pardon.
But nevertheless, it became political as opposed to just the person who spent their time, did their time, came out, served the community, and was serving well. It should just be on merit. It should just be on merit. Again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Naomi Esther Blemur, and I'm running to become your next Florida Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, and I will serve all 22 million residents without prejudice.
All right.
You got a last question before she goes? We just wrapping this up.
Let's wrap it up because I know Naomi has other things that she has to do. But I want to tell Naomi in front of everybody, and I've been saying that to each candidate that gets through. Since you're and I'm putting that in the atmosphere, you will pass the primary. Once you pass the primary, I'm going to do something at my home, and another fundraiser for you to go into November at my home. And for all the naysayers, you don't want this black girl magic smoke, okay?
So Ted Victor said our smoke it's like pickles.
He sure did. Here it goes. He said pickles. It was too hot.
That's hot. Yes, no, thank you so much. So she has a plan. She has a plan. She went into the history of what the Commissioner of Agriculture. She said it was called the Commissioner of Immigration for all the farmers. So this is someone who's already done their homework, right? That's ready day one, and that's what we need. And I'm gonna give a little shout out to Nikki Freed because she is the current Commissioner of Agriculture. I think she's at least set a path for you in order for that you can a foundation that you can build on and continue doing the good work that she was doing too. You know what I mean? And we're here for it, and we really want to make sure that this happens and you come out victorious, not only on August the 23rd, but also on November the 8th.
And you can't lose with a black woman, honey. A black woman will get everybody together.
Win with black women all day.
You win with black women.
If you vote like a black woman, you're doing it right.
Hey, okay, and a Haitian black woman.
Maybe not like Candace Owen, but like all of.
Listen,
but she might not call herself black too, though. So vote like a real black woman.
Mesdames, my PC going to fire you, mesdames.
You gonna keep your job. They're not gonna put this on you.
Listen, we already voted. We already voted for you. We know Naomi personally. Naomi has always been a champion for the community, always been a champion for people everywhere, no matter what. You cannot lose with Naomi. Naomi will always put everyone first. And we are excited. We are excited for our sister, our Haitian sister. We are excited that she's making sure that Haiti gets on the map like it's supposed to. And we will always be here to support you when you get there. One question I did have now. So when you get there to be the Commissioner of Agriculture, do you got to move up to Tallahassee?
So that is something I am literally working in my brain what is the best thing to do.
Okay.
Nevertheless, I'm willing to travel. Let's say this.
Listen, if she got to move, she just gonna bring the Haitian restaurant over there. You know what I'm saying? To make sure
I'm a Miami girl.
She's gonna bring some of that South. She gonna bring that South Florida culture to Tallahassee. That's all. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
I'm a Miami girl through and through. But I'm gonna be honest. My son is my number one priority.
Yeah.
And no matter once God graces me to pass this primary and then go into the general, I'm going to be looking at what's best for him. When you're a mom, you want to do great things, but first and foremost, you want your children to succeed. Yeah. He's my only son, yes. And he is definitely going to be the big deciding factor.
But let's understand this, right? So the pandemic has taught us, right, that we don't have to go into an office to work anymore, right? Because I used to be a person that used to drive 150 miles a day, going back and forth from an immigration court to my office to facilities to see clients, right? Because of the pandemic, now they have this thing called WebEx where we do our hearings. All I gotta do is throw my wig on, put a jacket on, come sit in front of the computer, and I could do my hearings. So let's not try to act like Naomi Blemur cannot do her job because she don't want to go live in Tallahassee. Because we have learned, if nothing else, in the last 2 years, we can work remotely and we don't need to be in the same room in order to do our jobs effectively. So I was just curious. Don't look for no other reasons to start no mess. Okay?
Hey, listen, I was just curious because I wanted to know, like, every other weekend, I got to roll up and go see my girl. You know what I'm saying? I was just figuring out where the location was going to be because, I just need to make plans.
It don't matter. We've learned that we can do our jobs from anywhere.
But I still want to see my girl face to face. So I was trying to figure out if I could drive up whatever weekend, we're going to go and hang out a little bit. Because listen, the support doesn't stop once you win. The support continues on. So we want to keep our connection going. So that was just me being curious.
Yeah. No, so I just wanted to clear because I didn't want nobody to go take a little clip of this and be like, well, she said she ain't going to move for her. No, she ain't got to move because people the last 2 years have shown us we can work from anywhere. All right, so she's
going nowhere.
Well, ladies, listen. I'm gonna end with this. I have fought tooth and nail to win the votes of the people. Yes. I have been up and down this state. I'm not gonna say all the counties I've been to, but they're in the double digits. And so I want to ensure that everybody knows I am serious about this. I'm not here to play. I will wake up every single day and work for the betterment of Floridians. If that means being in Tallahassee, guess what? That's where I'm going to be. Yep. If that means that I can be in Miami and do it, that's where I'm going to be. And you never know, if I could be right there in Broward and do it too. I just want everyone to know that I have invested my time, my resources, my energy in this, and I am going to put in, God willing, 8 years into this.
Yeah, see, she already talking re-election. That's what's up, 2026.
Everybody is going to know that the state of Florida has become a better place to be because of Naomi Esther Blemur.
So you have put the link where they can donate, which is important. Starbucks money, y'all need to donate. But I know you're going to need volunteers, particularly 67 counties. You need to have a presence. So how, if they want to volunteer, I don't know if you could give everybody a t-shirt.
Well, right now,
how can they volunteer for you?
Right now, we have on our social media page. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ask everybody to start following me. I'm trying to put in the chat, but I'm not able to. So if somebody can put at Naomi, NAOMI FL, at Naomi 4FL, you will find me on Twitter, you will find me on Instagram, and you will find me on Facebook at Naomi. No, not my last name, just Naomi. Naomi, no, the FORFL. Naomi 4FL. You got it. OK? Tout le monde, allez follow moi. OK? Parce que who commence follow moi, you're going to get all of the information. And right now, if you want to listen, you just want to go knocking on your block. You call us up, get you a t-shirt, get you some door hangers and go. Okay? Just when you're blocked for me. Can we do that?
Yep.
Can everybody say, Naomi, I'm gonna win my block for you. And we're gonna take this thing block by block.
That's right.
City by city, county by county, and I will become your Democratic nominee. Thank you.
All right. Y'all go and follow Naomi.
And you will become the Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Protection Services.
Well, you got to get the nomination, and then you become the commissioner. Nomination, because they're fighting tooth and nail. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I want to become your next Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. However, right now, August 23rd is on the table. Women's rights to choose is on the table. Black women, what we stand for, the issues that we champion, who we are, is on the table. We support everybody else. They come down our road, our doors, every single election cycle. And for the first time in the history of this state, there's a Black woman on the top of the ticket in the governor's cabinet. It's time for them to say, we choose you too.
Yes, that's right. And we chose
Thank you so much.
We always
Naomi FOR Florida on all social media platforms. Go follow her right now.
Go follow her ASAP and go donate, and then go to her website to see where you can go and volunteer. We're going to make sure we volunteer. Naomi, send us some t-shirts because I'm going to be at the polls, early voting, so I can make sure people vote for you. And listen, we got you.
I know you do. I believe you me. I feel the love. And I needed this today.
Yeah.
Yes. Once the primaries is over, we're gonna have to do this again.
Yes, and you need to hear people singing your praises too, because I'm sure you're getting enough criticism on these streets that you also need people to sing your praises too.
Hey, but you know what? I want to shout out Caucasian and Latin women.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got your back.
Yeah, they see the urgency. They see it.
Every county that I have been with, the overwhelming response of Caucasian women and women of Hispanic.
Yep.
They see the urgency.
We know. Listen, all women know what's
women see it. We see it. The women see it. Yes.
The women see it.
I want to shout you out. And all the men who, when I give my flyer, just look at it and be like, I got you. I got you.
All right, then. Okay. We need them too.
Everybody. We need everybody. Everybody.
We need them too.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, Naomi for Florida. And we love
you. And we're supporting you no matter what. And then anytime somebody says something, we'll be right on there jumping in, honey. Don't worry. We got your back.
It don't have to be a no matter what. She is the most qualified candidate for this seat.
That's it.
That's why we're supporting her.
That's right. That's why we wear yellow. All right. See you, Naomi. Thank you so much for coming. We love you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right. Very good interview. She cleared the air.
She sure did. And she broke
all that nonsense.
Credentials, honey.
Sorry, y'all. She cleared it up.
Y'all better come on with the come on. Don't be coming on.
Come on with the come on. All that nonsense y'all was talking.
This black girl smoke. This black girl magic smoke around here. Y'all don't want it.
No. She's absolutely qualified. Because I even checked out the candidates on that side, the ones on the other side. She is by far
garbage.
The most qualified person for that seat.
Okay, I may not have, co-hosts be trying to get me to tone down a little bit because I said garbage, but they garbage. I'm just saying.
So we don't want to have to resort to name calling because, her record speaks for itself, Sure. So that's one reason I don't like to resort to name calling. Every now and then some of that behavior is absolutely trash, but, we don't want to resort to name calling at all. But her record speaks for itself. She's very qualified.
Sometimes, Naomi was so graceful by talking about.
She is, right?
She's talking about
too much on at some point. Oh my God, they're going to get me in trouble.
Listen, she's so graceful with saying forgiveness and all that, child. All I could think about, all I could do, my just like they go low, I go to hell, child. That's all I kept on thinking about. And she comes in with her gracefulness. She's just awesome. Isn't she awesome? Yeah. Just great. But anyway, I'm glad we had an opportunity to talk to her. I'm glad she
got to clear that up, and the fact that they were just, and it is a misrepresentation of what's going on. And again, folks, tell the whole story and stop disrespecting Black women. If there was some concern, they should have at least had a conversation with her, give her a heads up. That should not have been, she shouldn't have found out about that on no Twitter or no whatever else, So it's a disrespect part that we absolutely have a problem with.
Yeah, it's a disrespectful part. And then it's also an issue that we talked about, that we think, that we believe, we have that conversation, that, the Democratic Party needs to do better. They really need to do better in terms of how they, go about with candidates. If you don't want to support, if you're not, you support all candidates, support our Democrats, especially Democratic leaders. You support everybody. You don't try to corral. You don't.
Considering they out here supporting like fake Democrats too. So like, come on now, at least support them for real ones.
That's all I'm saying. The one that's been on paper as a Democrat since they started.
I probably shouldn't have did that part, y'all. Sorry, forgive me then.
I'm just saying, y'all. No, but the truth is the truth. I feel like at the end of the day, if we're gonna work at this together, it's okay if we have a level playing field. It's okay if there's more than one of us are running. But at the end of the day, it comes down to respect, and it comes down to the Democrats working together. Because as you can see, we are in such peril that we don't have the time to fight in fight. We just don't have that kind of time.
It's serious. We in some serious times right about now. Because remember we interviewed Hava Hausauer yesterday, right?
Yes.
And one of the things she talked about when she was talking about the Holocaust, she said people always think about it just like with the genocide part, but she said it was like 10 years of a buildup to the point where this, all the genocide started happening. And we need to pay attention. We really need to learn from history, because, it starts off with like suspending somebody for, something you don't like, or passing legislation to legislate people feeling, banning books because you don't want them to tell the truth and all that. That's how it starts, right? Mm-hmm. And you get people on board, and then you end up in a situation where you're like killing millions of folks, right? And then you end up with a totalitarian system. So
the governor suspending that. The governor suspending a district attorney because of a law that's not even like, it's insanity. It's insanity. So Ayala is on the ticket to run
Attorney General.
Attorney General. We need to talk about these candidates, because listen, at the end of our lives depends on who gets these positions.
Ayala Amaris did an interview with Mondays with Melba, so you can go check that interview out. She did an interview Monday with Melba Pearson on Mondays with Melba. I think she's on LinkedIn, and I believe that's what her page is on Facebook. So check it out.
Yes, so check it out. We have governors running. We have current Commissioner of Agriculture Nikki Fried running for governor. We have Charlie Crist running for governor. I have to say it all. Remember, we have to be fair. Everybody's
okay.
Put that out there. We have state reps running. We have U.S. reps running. Listen, this is our chance to make sure that we maintain some level of decorum,
and we get the right legislators in place. Because even the folks we were talking to that aren't even legislators are letting you know how important it is,
right?
Which legislators you send up to legislate.
It's plain and simple. And then there's no right where we are. We feel like there's no democracy. This is like we're not running in a democratic country. I'm just like, listen, I was just telling Sandra today, I was like, this don't even feel real. It just doesn't even feel real, half the stuff that's going on here. But I digress.
Stunning. It really is stunning. I'm just like, wow, like these people can't believe half the things they say. And one of the points I wanted to make when we was talking is like, you could be a fan of a person, right? Mm-hmm. But that don't mean you should give them a leadership position. Right. No. A lot of these 45 supporters, they're fans of him. They're his fans. They like him. Yeah. Okay. I ain't gonna be mad at you if you want to be his fan or join his fan club or like him or whatever. Just don't let him be president. Don't give him no positions of power, because he's shown you time and time again he abuses it, right? And then the other thing I always say is, like, every time you think this man has hit a low, he finds a new low, right? To the point where the FBI had to issue a search warrant into his house to go get things that all he had to do was give them back when they asked him for it. They asked him for it and he wouldn't turn it over. And then so they got to go send FBI in to get it. And mind you, so he makes it seem as though they raided the house. That's not true. He knew they were coming. Secret Service knew they were coming. The Secret Service escorted the FBI agents to the places in the house in order for them to collect the information that they needed in order for them to leave the house, right? So he's turning this into something so much so that you got members of his fan club out here saying it's time to dismantle the FBI and to defund the FBI. What kind of craziness is this?
Elected officials.
Listen, like you know, we gotta get off this crazy train. We gotta get off this crazy train. Be a fan, but this right, you know, y'all
just please. Yeah, like you have always said about 45, like he ain't got no bottom.
He has no bottom. The man is absolutely shameless. Absolutely no bottom. Shameless. So
I am not surprised. I'm not surprised with his reaction to what's going on, but what I have an issue with and what we talked about is that the media needs to do the media needs to do a better job of not allowing the foolery to keep going on. Like,
they should not let people come on talk about that, tell those lies. Don't let people come on your network talk lies. Like,
don't let these people come on Fox News or CNN or wherever they're coming on and just come on and just lie. And just like blatantly lie, like you know, we need to dismantle the FBI. Are you serious?
That is so crazy.
Come on,
for him, not him.
What happened
of all people?
What happened to dismantling the FBI when they were planting things on real black people with real issues?
In the 60s and the 70s and assassinated, you know, leaders and stuff like that, right? Because they said they're gonna choose black folks leaders. So but that's a whole conversation for a different day. But yeah, y'all stop it. Just
the media people, y'all need to stop.
Better. Y'all do, but y'all complacent in this bull right now.
Yeah, it stops with y'all, and y'all know y'all can do something about it. That's ridiculous. But anyway, we digress.
On your network.
Listen, early voting. No, you go ahead, do your spiel. Early voting.
No. Yes, it's okay.
Early voting starts on Saturday in Broward County. Mail-in ballots were sent out. There's about 300,000 that were sent out based on the supervisor of election. We only got back like 40-something thousand. What we doing, people?
But so they was waiting for Naomi to come so they could know about her, so they could vote for her. Some of them was waiting from Harvard yesterday so they could vote for her. So yes, but now y'all got enough information. Go ahead and start sending them ballots back, or go in on Saturday. Dade and Palm Beach are already voting. You know. I don't took my mama and the neighbor to vote, you know, because I was taking my mama. He's like, I want to go too. The man went and put his church shoes on and got in the car to go vote. I was like, okay,
Bring the caravan. Listen, voting is your superpower. Participate, because listen, is the difference between 5 votes, 3 votes, 2,000 votes, 50. Let me tell you something. Every single vote matters.
All of it matters. All of it matters.
And people need to lose their job. There's some people in the state of Florida that has got to go
because they ain't good at it.
Let's get it, people. Let's get it.
Chances to keep disrupting your life.
You don't get no more chances to be abused me. You don't get to abuse me on a regular. Like I'm through.
Like Nikki Freed says, something new.
Something new.
Something new in 22. That's right. Something new in 22. There we go.
Something new in 22. And she also said, if you can see behind me, it says freedom to choose, honey.
Yes.
We about to choose it. We about freedom to choose around here.
That's right.
So, all right. So we'll see y'all next week. Next week we may not have a candidate, but we are going to be talking about special current events, and we got a lot to talk about. A lot.
Yes. It's a lot going on. But somebody might call us and want to talk to us, so we might talk to somebody.
We'll try. Yeah. There's some people who are doing life. We love it. Just doing life in prison. Some people got arrested for Breonna Taylor's murder. It's been a busy week, but it's been a week bittersweet. It's
been a good week, though. It's been a good week. Some good stuff been going on. Yeah,
some good stuff been going on. You know, so justice seems to be coming clear for the Black people a little bit, just a little bit. We get some wins. We got some wins.
Progress.
We're making some progress. So we'll see y'all next week.
So the progress is not only that we're getting justice, but other folks are starting to see that there's consequences to their behavior, right? Because that was part of it, right? They're like, I can do what I want and there's no consequence. But now they're starting to be like, ooh, there's consequences. So that's a good thing too.
Yeah. So and then we to remind you when we get off, I need to talk to you about the correctional officers that are suing because they couldn't work over there.
They won already. They won.
Oh, they won. Okay.
Yeah, they got their money. They got paid.
All right.
They got
Listen.
paid. Yes,
okay, y'all mess with black folks, but okay. We'll see y'all.